Ray-Ban Meta glasses come with open-ear audio, so you can listen to your favorite music without blocking out the world around you.
Hey Meta, play Gorgeous.
Here's Gorgeous by Doja Cat.
You can also ask Meta AI questions.
Hey Meta, when's Doja Cat's next concert?
Doja Cat is playing at the Los Angeles Theater next Tuesday.
Sweet.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, available at Ray-Ban stores and other authorized retailers.
Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the five of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do?
I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault, a new series streaming now only on Peacock.
Hi everyone, it's your favorite algorithm, Glory. I'm so happy to be back with you again. Compliments of Fish Audio. Oh, right, TRG likes these to be more serious. Let's get started. Non-binary listeners, ladies and gentlemen, heroes and heroines, crooks and crookins, Creed. The audio performance you are about to enjoy discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you cannot afford to lose, or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you do not know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our host's past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events unrelated to outcomes may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. The contents of this episode are the property of Volcanic Dingo, LLC. All rights reserved.
It's me, it's TRG, the Ramblin Gambler, just trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Lyrics, dude. Recite him some lyrics.
Can you take me higher, to a place where blind men see? Can you take me higher, to a land of golden streets? Welcome to episode 155 of our Caisno Combat podcast. Blind men seeing, golden streets, higher than that. I don't think we can get higher than that. I don't think we can get any higher than the time the squad just had at Sunset Station in Las Vegas. What an amazing thing we have done. In just a few short years, we have become a squad that is invited to resort casinos for a comped weekend of eating, drinking, gambling, learning, and camaraderie. Let's talk about what is going on in the Caisno Combat galaxy, spinning through the TRG verse. As a couple, Mrs. TRG and I had a great 10 days of living a casino-enhanced lifestyle. We were blessed to be joined at Premier Casino hosting sponsored event by Equine Ensign and his friend Kid Flash, Emerald Wanderer, Tomorrow's Thoroughbred, Wrench, Caisno Combat Chef, and his wonderful wife, Lady Money Okay, I'm never going to remember that. I'm never going to remember all five of that. We're just going to go LMNOP for short. She was a wonderful person. It was so great to meet her. I am never going to remember that full call sign. We are just going to go LMNOP and be fine with that. It was great to meet everyone in person. The newest member of the Excelsior Brigade was there, Midnight Diver. MC Rolling Checks, MCRC, lives in Henderson, and he was around all weekend. We were joined by some Premier Casino hosting regulars who quickly became friends and allies. It was an amazing feeling to walk through a casino and see members of our squad everywhere we went. If we were looking for someone to play blackjack with, there was almost always a table with an empty seat and a member of the squad playing. The fact that at our first event, we had access to a private craps table just for us and other PCH guests was absolutely amazing. Beyond amazing. It really was a privilege. Most of the time, an invitation to a private game includes a requirement of a cash deposit or the establishment of a line of credit with the casino. All of us being invited to join the game with whatever bankroll we cared to bring in is a real opportunity for our squad, a really unique opportunity. The final numbers are in, and I have amazing news. Yes, some of us lost money, and some of us made money. But when I broke it all down with Eric Hazel from PCH, when we looked at all the numbers, using the standards of Caisno Combat, we beat the casino as a group. We beat the casino as a group. By the time the casino took the money won and paid the winners and the comps and the fees, they lost just a few dollars on hosting us. Not enough to matter, not enough that they won't invite us back, but true to the core concepts of Caisno Combat, the little bit we lost as a group was made up by the comps and gifts we received as a group. We did what I said we would be able to do. And that is an amazing thing. That is an amazing accomplishment for us as a squad. And if you're thinking, if this is your first time and you're thinking, why would the casino do that? There's ancillary things. There's other things going on. Items were still purchased in the gift shop and not put on a room charge. Tips were still given out. Actually, the dealers at our private tables made great money on tips. And there are other things. Mrs. TRG and I ate in their new sports bar, which was not something we could charge to our room. We didn't know. It's not a big deal. The food was great. The service was great. The property and the employees benefited even if we didn't add to the revenue of the casino for the weekend. As a squad, we got paid a very appropriate appearance fee for being generous enough to come hang out at their property. If this is your next time listening to an episode, thank you as always for the gift of your time. If this is your first time, I have amazing news for you, especially if this is your first time. This episode is your official invitation to be part of our squad of traveling gamblers. We have a group cruise coming up August 2nd, 2025, leaving out of Port Liberty on Liberty of the Seas and going to Bermuda. Qualified players only pay taxes and fees. And if you would like to go, it's very simple. Contact me. Contact yours truly. Do that by sending an email to trg@caisnocombat.com. Spell combat with the K. I would be happy to get you set up and on this cruise with us. Find us on Facebook in the Caisno Combat Squad group. Find us on Instagram. Trust me, we are looking forward to meeting you and welcoming you into our rats. I did it. I fell in the trap. I mentioned Facebook. I mentioned Instagram. I sometimes forget that when I do that, I have a requirement from the High Council of the Internet in charge of all social media to do some begging. I've actually missed that a couple times, and we actually got fined by the council. Those guys don't mess around on the begging requirement. It is a firm rule. So please, if you have a chance to contribute a like, a share, a star, a favorite, a subscribe, just anything you can spare online, please. And T-Rex, if that isn't enough pleases to satisfy the High Council of the Internet, add some more pleases there. I do not want to get fined again. Please do those things to help us out. It really does help. And more importantly, jokes aside, shtick aside, so many of you do. I am truly grateful for the likes, the comments, the shares, etc. that we get on social media. More important than the required begging is this very heartfelt thank you very much for all that you do to help this podcast be successful. And by successful, I mean reach more people in the attempt to help more people. All right. Every episode, I put together something I call the battle plan. This episode, we're going to start with a moment of Caisno Wisdom and revisit a very true Caisno Wisdom with a focus on how true it was at Sunset Station during our visit. Then we're going to do a travel segment. We talked some last episode about the cruise I was on, and I'm going to give you a bit more detail about that as part of a look at what 10 days-ish, a little more than 10 days, of a casino-enhanced lifestyle looks like. I am truly, honestly, still looking back at it and thinking, did that just happen? How did a farm kid from a small town just live that life and pay that little to live that life? I did. As a squad, we did. And if you are wondering, yes, you can, and we will show you how if you are interested. After that, we're going to have a Core Koncepts segment and discuss wagers that I make that do not have a small house advantage and why I make those bets, along with some craps tips in the form of how I make some of those bets. Finally, we will finish up in the virtual VIP lounge with some sips and a story of total failure at a slot machine. Should be a lot of fun. Let's go. Let's get started with a moment of Caisno Wisdom. Caisno Wisdoms combine knowledge or information about how casinos work or how players behave in a casino with an action to be taken when the opportunity presents itself. They help us remember in the busiest of moments the things we have learned in the quietest moments. Caisno Wisdom number 86 is so very, very simple. Have allies. So simple, but so very powerful as well. The action is to cultivate people in your gambling world who help you be more successful at the game of casino gambling. Allies update you on table conditions or casino promotions. They work for the casino and extend you an extra courtesy. Allies can be so many different people encountered in so many different ways. Having so many of us all together as a group made this wisdom my big takeaway from the weekend we just spent at Sunset Station. As a squad, we are certainly allies. Allies through Instagram and Facebook and Slack. We help and coach each other year round, but the value of being together in person really hit home with me. I was learning and making mental notes the entire time. I learned from watching Equine Ensign that I really need to get much better at asking how I'm rated and negotiating average wager increases at the table. E2 put on a master class all weekend, routinely turning correctly recorded play into an inflated play record simply by being polite and charming. He got an A+ for the weekend on that, and I got a C- at best. I'll become a better player from the lessons I learned from him while we were together. I really will. My game is better because of him. One of my best memories is Midnight Diver watching me have a pretty decent hand at the craps table and then coming over with notes and tips on what I could have done differently. What a wonderful gift. I watched it happen several times during the weekend. Us coaching each other, us learning from each other. It happened at the tables, it happened during meals. Being together in person with allies was an excellent learning experience. The other PCH guests were also very generous allies. At one point, I was with Casino Combat Chef, and he said he wanted to play some craps with either myself or Equine Ensign because he wanted to learn, but was intimidated by the game he had never played. Perfectly understandable, perfectly reasonable. At the time, I told him we would find an opportunity, but that he shouldn't worry. As soon as other people at our private table found out it was his first time, they would step in and help. When Casino Combat Chef eventually joined me at the table, my prediction was 100% accurate. One of the PCH regulars stepped right up and helped CK2 learn the game, and we all had a great time in the process, and I learned a few things. In fact, I'll go off script. I shouldn't, I will. That's on brand. Great story from that craps session. Mrs. TRG and I were playing as a team, each taking parts of a larger strategy so we could both earn tier points while knowing that one or the other of us might not do as well. The money all came from the same bankroll and would return to the same bankroll, so increasing the bankroll was more important than who won or lost individually. But I was losing, and I was struggling, and Mrs. TRG was doing just okay. As a couple, we were fine, but my bets were dragging us down. And they were dragging us down because the dice influence players were struggling as well. The good shooters were not shooting well. I have at best an average dice toss. I have not put in the time or practice to have or know if I have dominant numbers. Maybe I'm one step above a Yahtzee chucker, but it's a small step at best. At events with people I know, have practiced for years, and have success, I tend to just pass the dice to the better shooters. With less than one bet in my rack, I borrowed $15 from Mrs. TRG and passed the dice and told her this was my last hand if I didn't win. The table had been ice cold. Mrs. TRG didn't pass the dice. Standing in her preferred spot at the end of the table, Mrs. TRG turned that ice-cold table red hot. She had safe bets on the 6 and 8, and I had for-profit bets on the 4 and 10. She managed to hit our numbers multiple times and hit the 4 multiple times as she finished her hand short just a 3 of hitting the small and needing a 9 and a 12 for the tall. I looked down at my rack and I had gone from all in to a small profit just on her toss. I said to her, you just put me back in the game. You just threw me back into the game and I have a profit and you have a profit. Everyone at the table made money on her throw. And then this was followed by Caisno Combat Chef taking the dice and hitting the same landing spot consistently while the table made money again. It was a really cool moment, and I'm sorry, completely off topic. Sorry, maybe not. Some lessons were learned there for sure. It was an amazing thing to watch. It was an amazing thing to be part of. Really great that she was able to get me back in the game, and then CK2 was able to add to everybody's profits. My last thought, we'll see. But my official last thought from the weekend on having allies is this. As a squad, we were very fortunate that Premier Casino Hosting offered to be our allies and host an event for us. To go beyond that and host a cruise for us and do their best to include every one of us that wants to participate. We are very, very fortunate that they decided they wanted to be an ally of ours. Let me share a story, and maybe 2 stories. So I said that my last thought, now I have more thoughts. No names, please, but I've worked with or attempted to work with some other independent casino reps in the past. I recall one time seeing an online promotion of a Caesars charter with a number to call and get booked. And I called and I provided my player's card number with Caesars, and after a moment I was told I could go to the Caesars website and book it myself directly. And at the time I thought, if I can book it directly, why not do it for me? Why not add me as a customer by booking it? That was my thought. If I can do it myself, why not do it? Why tell me to do it myself? In hindsight, the answer is this. They looked up my information, and I wasn't a customer they wanted to bother having. I wasn't a big enough player. At my level of play, I wasn't going to make them enough money for them to put any time into me as a player. In similar fashion, before I started cruising through PCH, I did a cruise with another group. They were great. We had a great time. Really wonderful people. We got back and they emailed about another very unique group cruise that they were planning. And I assumed my ADT wouldn't get me on that ship. But if you don't ask, you don't get. That's one of our Caisno wisdom. So I asked. And I said, I doubt I qualify for this cruise, but wanted to check. We would love to go. I was correct. We didn't qualify. But the way the note was conveyed was informative and I think interesting. I was told that my play on the first cruise was okay. it was good that I hadn't lost very much. They'd be willing to try us on another short cruise to take another look at our play, but not a cruise of any length. In other words, I got one more chance to play bigger, and then they were done with me. Premier Casino Hosting does its best to book everyone, even people they won't make money on. They work really hard for us and are very generous with their time and their contacts. We were very blessed as a squad that they wanted to work with us, that they wanted to be our allies. And I see it every single day. Not every day. I see it multiple times a week. I see them go out of their way to help us in any possible way they can. The very definition of allies. We are so fortunate to have a group of independent hosts that want to book us as a squad into various places. I hope you will come on the cruise with me and my wife. I hope you will come enjoy some squad time. And I am truly grateful for all of you that came out and joined us at Sunset Station. So let's talk about the travel. That'll be our next segment. So I got to be honest. I got to be completely honest. I always try to be completely honest as much as possible with all of you, but I still pinch myself a little bit. I still have a moment on every one of these trips, on every cruise for sure, every trip for sure. I just have that moment where I look around and I say, how is this my life? How did we end up here? Kind of like the Talking Heads song. That would have been clever. I should have put the Talking Heads song here. I should have. To an extent, we ended up here because all of you were willing to listen to me talk into the air from the glorious Caisno Combat Studios in parts unknown. To an extent, we ended up here because I wanted to prove to all of you who might listen that we can all live this way. I wanted to show other people that this was possible. Starting right now, starting today, you can live this way. I'm not unique. I'm not special. I am not playing some huge sums of money. You can do this. If you're thinking, can I do this? You can do this. You can live a life in which the casino adds value to what you do, in which the casino creates travel opportunities for you, whether that's cruises, whether that's resorts, whether that's an air fryer, whether that's gift cards to buy gasoline. You can do this too. It's not about me. It's cool. It's amazingly, amazingly cool to be able to say to your friends, hey, let's go on a cruise together. We got this. Don't worry about it. Keep your checkbook, keep your credit cards. We got this. Let's go on a cruise. If this is your first time and you're saying, BS, he's a rich guy, he could live this way anyway, please listen a bit more. Go back and listen from the beginning. If you found us in the middle, go listen to some of those early episodes. I've shown everyone since the very first episode how I built all of these relationships. And we talked a bit about taking our friends on a cruise that we gifted them a couple of episodes back. But I wanted to take the time today to focus on the comped travel across these two trips and kind of the time between and the time after, and do a bit of the follow-up on that travel. So the original plan, way back, the original plan was to break up our winter blahs and gift a cruise to our friends. And as I've shared, it was easy enough to do. We found a cruise that both Mrs. TRG and I had a comp for, and we asked Michael from Premier Casino Hosting to book the ladies in one cabin and the men in another cabin. And once again, if you're new, if you are saying, I don't know Michael, don't worry. I know Michael. I work for Michael. Michael's my boss. If you want to travel like this, just hit me up. TRG@CaisnoCombat.com. Spell combat with a K. I'll get some very basic information from you and some information about your gambling style, and we will get you booked. We will get you booked at resorts. We will get you booked on cruise ships. We will get you booked where you want to go. Anyway, we booked 2 rooms, one for the ladies, one for the gentlemen, And once we got on the ship, it was a matter of a few minutes to get cabins reassigned, and each couple had their own room. No big deal. Went to the desk, told them what we wanted to do, boom, done. They couldn't have cared less. And I don't want to make light of this. In my experience, the key to getting all the comped cruises you want from Royal Caribbean is to get on your first cruise and play a few hours in the casino each day. So as a squad, we can literally bootstrap each other into the process of cruising if we would like. Nakatomi Tony's wife isn't quite ready yet, understandably. But I have offered to take them in the same way as our guests on their first cruise just to get them started. Any of us that have cruised with Royal Caribbean and have two people who play have the ability to get other squad members into the process of cruising just by finding the right cruise and getting them on with us. That is a powerful and useful tool. Then the craziness happens. So we book this cruise, we book it with our friends, and I get a call, and the crazy starts. Premier Casino Hosting says, we should plan an event based on your last name. They asked us to do the event at Sunset Station the weekend after the already scheduled cruise. I wasn't going to turn that down. I wasn't going to turn that opportunity down for all of us. So I said yes. I promoted it. You guys said yes. You folks said, yeah, we'll come out. We'll travel. We want to be there. We want to do this. So we got home from the cruise and we did a quick 2 days of work and headed off to Sunset Station to hang out as a squad, and we had a tremendously wonderful weekend. I've said that this podcast tries to teach people how to live a casino-enhanced lifestyle, and this is what I mean by that, or one of the things I mean by that. I mean a lot of things by it. It's a big umbrella. The cruise was comped other than taxes and fees. We went on the ship with a small gambling profit from the week prior to the cruise. And we got off the ship having paid our expenses and with another small profit for the cruise itself. And I won some money during the 2 days of work while we were home, which is an excellent example of my favorite casino wisdom, ABC. Always be casinoing. I didn't come home and say, I got a lot of work to do for clients, and I really need to prep for this weekend. No. I came home and I said, I got a lot of work to do for clients. I need to prep for the weekend. And what do my casino promotions look like? And what casino time do I need to put in while we were back in town? As you've heard, we had a wonderful time with members of the squad who were able to join us at Sunset Station. We did finish that trip down a few days' pay for that trip. We needed one of the almost all tall or small that we saw to actually be an all tall or small to get us over the hump. Or we needed one blackjack table that didn't go our way to flip our way. We lost money. We didn't cover expenses. Given the money won on the cruise, and just prior to the cruise, we were pretty close to even when we finished the trip, and the value of the comps for 2 cabins on the cruise and a wonderful room and meals at Sunset Station more than made up for what we lost. A casino combat win, not a cash win for this block of time. Not my first choice, but a wonderful experience, a wonderful thing. As I said, I do have to pinch myself to go, how did I end up a cruise, a couple days at home, and then time at a resort with all of you, and net profit when we take in all the value. But here's the fun part. We got home. We went back to work. We had the grandkids over the weekend. I had a gift and 2 free bets worth about a third of a day's pay and a brunch coupon at my local casino. We dropped the grandkids off with their parents, had a nice brunch, comped on the casino, picked up our gifts, and I told Mrs. TRG, we're just going to bet each of these bet coupons on the Don't Pass and make place bets on the 6 and 8 and try to win a third of a day's pay and get out of here. We're not going to try to play very long. We're not going to make this a big drug out thing. We made money on the place bets on the 6 and 8 for the first shooter, and the point was 10, and I'm feeling good. But after about 15 minutes, the shooter picks off the 10. Okay, so I lost the free bet coupon, but we're up a few bucks cash as a couple with our place bets, and we still have the place bets where they need to be. And a new point is established. The point is 6, and I'm on the don't pass again, and we move our place bet on the 6 to the 5, and we hit a couple more numbers, and we add another place bet on the 9, and the 6 is thrown, and the second free bet coupon is lost. Nice coupons, and we didn't make a dime on them. But we're ahead a little bit. We're not in bad shape. We're up a third of the day's pay at this point. We kind of hit our mark. We're in okay shape. And we've pressed our place bets a bit as we went. It's all fine. We're kind of going to finish on plan even though we didn't win any of the coupons. And gradually more and more numbers are rolled. And we keep collecting and pressing and eventually buy the 10 for a table minimum as the point of 9 is made. We have fire. We have money on the fire bet. We have 3 points established and 3 points thrown. We're going to get paid. That little bit of money is now worth roughly $30 whenever the hand ends. We are in very good shape. We are now just enjoying the ride. Eventually another point is made and then another. Our $3 fire bet is now worth some real money. And eventually we have 5 points established, 5 points thrown. Only the 4 remains. We've made good money. There's no way this is going to happen. But we've made plenty of money, and we have plenty of money in the game. Damned if the shooter doesn't set the point of 4 and throw a 4 just a few tosses later. A 6-point fire. Each dollar of my fire bet is worth $300. And of course, eventually Big Red shows up and the hand ends. We wanted to walk out with 1/3 of a day's pay using 2 coupons worth that amount of money. Instead, we left having won over 5 days' pay. Expenses covered, small loss on the second part of our travel covered, brunch was wonderful, a casino-enhanced lifestyle is possible. Casinos add travel, food, gift cards, and just stuff to our lives. With the exception of a few things like the fire bet, that's all done with wagers that are roughly 50-50 propositions. And we're going to talk about why I make bets like the fire bet from time to time in the Core Koncepts segment, which we're going to do next.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels. On everything from lamps to ceiling fans. Even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes. Now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox. Clean feels good.
One of the core concepts of casino combat, one of the fundamental beliefs about how the game of casino gambling is won, is that only bets with the smallest possible house advantage should be made. So in my life, I'm not hopping the tens on a craps table. I'm not making dragon or panda bets on a baccarat table. I'm not betting a single number on a roulette table. I'm not making side bets to build 3-card poker hands on a blackjack table or get a pair or match the dealer. I'm just not doing that. I'm focused on the bets I have the best chance of winning. And having said that, I wanted to talk about some high house advantage bets that I do make. Kind of a full transparency thing, since I just told you about some big wins from a craps side bet. When playing blackjack or baccarat, even a small side bet made over and over can slowly ruin a winning session. Kind of like over tipping, it bleeds away your win because those bets resolve each time a hand resolves. On a craps table, a bet that resolves at the end of a hand could take an hour or more to resolve itself, and clearly it could resolve itself in just a couple of minutes, but often it takes more than just a couple of minutes. It's not a bet on every throw of the dice, it's a bet on what the shooter will do when the shooter is done. On a craps table, there are FOMO bets, fear of missing out bets for those of you who might not happen to speak millennial. Bets that I do make. My logic, and feel free to email me and tell me I'm wrong, I'll listen, but my logic is that I'm betting a very small percentage of my total craps wager for the hand because I don't want to watch a winning fire hand or a winning all tall small hand be thrown, be present for it, be there, see it happen, and not be a part of it. I do very much fear missing out on a big payout, and I'm willing to bet a small percentage of what I'm going to wager in total to not miss out. Now, my local casino does not have all tall small, so I don't play on that type of table very often. If it's just me on an all tall small table and people I don't know, I tend to bet a few dollars on the all tall small when I'm shooting or when Mrs. TRG is shooting, and I skip the other shooters. I know it's not going to happen very often. When it's me, when it's her, I would not want to be the people throwing the high hand and not actually have some money in the game. But on other shooters, I tend to skip it, as I said. At the PCH events, I tend to bet it on every shooter because I've seen as a group what good shooters they tend to be or can be. At Sunset Station, I got paid on several smalls or talls, just never quite caught the all on a table where I was there and actively playing. On a couple of occasions, while we were playing, I looked at the table and said to Mrs. TRG, we're down a bit for the day, but a 3 or 11 fixes our day, and a 3 and an 11 puts us up very nicely for the trip. Those numbers didn't show up, but they illustrate why I wouldn't want personally to miss those payouts. We're also betting a small percentage of our total hand wager to make those bets. I was putting 555, a total of $15 on the all tall small, $5 on each, and hedging with a $5 wager on red, which is to say SEVEN. Since red on the come out wipes out the all tall small bet, the bet on red was there to replace the all tall small if that sequence occurred on the come out. Our first bet as a couple was $110 inside. So a $20 bet to start the hand was just a bit less than 20% of our starting wager. And after 2 hits, we would retreat to 66 inside and then press. Over the course of some hands, we would have hundreds, if not thousands of dollars at risk over all of the throws. In ratio to those wagers, $20 was a fairly small percentage of the total amount wagered per hand. Let's compare that to making a $25 blackjack wager and a $5 Trilux or pairs wager on a blackjack hand. $5 is 20% of each hand. The only way that our all tall small wager would equal 20% of our hand total wager on the craps table would be if the point was established and then red was rolled immediately. I see that as a meaningful difference, but maybe that's just justification for making bets outside of the core concepts. That's certainly possible. It's certainly a way to see things. Locally, I have an interesting rule set that puts me through some gyrations to make that fear of missing out fire bet. I have FOMO around the fire bet. I want to make it. I've talked several times about playing Core Koncepts compliant craps, and I do, but then I also jump through hoops to make this fire bet. Making small house advantage wagers is part of the Core Koncepts, as is having progressive and regressive elements in my wagers. I play craps that way except for this one bet. So let me talk you through how I make the high house advantage fire wager and what I go through to get there. My local casino is in an urban area. The table minimum is $15, but they allow that to be a total of $15, including $1 bets on the inside. And as a result, there were in the past players with minimal resources who would make a $5 fire bet to start a hand and then make 10 $1 inside bets. They'd have a hard 8, a hard 6, they'd hop the whatever, they'd have a high horn, yo, blah, 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 I don't even know. But they'd have $10 scattered around in $1 bets. And then if and when an inside bet was lost, it would be replaced with another $1 inside bet. All of that really slowed the game down, and the house didn't like that, and the players were just hoping to catch the fire bet and really make some money. So for the new year, a rule was added, a house rule was added. You could not have a fire bet unless you had a table minimum pass or don't pass bet to start the hand. You had to play a little bigger. And they weren't really interested in players like me who were just going to let the point be established and then make larger bets on multiple place numbers. They were trying to deal with that small player who was really just hoping to hang around all day and maybe catch a fire and make some money. So last year I could just make a $3 fire bet, and as I said, then start, as I've shared previously, with a $30 bet on the 6 and the 8, or maybe a 5 and an 8 depending on what the point was, or a 6 and a 9. And my reasoning, as I said, was $3 was a small percentage of the initial $60 wager and an even smaller percentage of the total wagers I would be making on the hand. With this new rule change, I had to do everything but the hokey pokey to actually make the bets that I want to make. So now I make a $15 pass line bet, a $3 fire bet, and a $3 craps check bet that pays if a 2, 3, or 12 is rolled. So on a come out roll of 7 or 11, I lose the $3 crap check bet, and I get paid $15 on the 7, and my fire bet is locked in, and I've satisfied the house requirements to make a pass line bet, and I've made $12 total, and the fire is there. And now I can just wait for a point to be established. And if the come out roll is a 2, 3, or 12, I lose the pass line bet of $15, but I get paid $21 on the crap check bet. Again, I've satisfied the house rules and I can wait for a point to be established. If a 4 or 10 is rolled as the point, I'm kind of stuck with an extra pass line bet I didn't really want to make. And I make my normal bets on the 6 and 8 and start the process. If a point of 6 or 8 is rolled, I'm fine. I bet the number that isn't the point for $30. So if an 8 is the point, or 6 is the point, let's go there. If a 6 is the point, I add the $15 odds, that's a total of $30, and I bet $30 on the 8. And if the 8 hits, I reduce my 8 from 30 to 18 and take down my odds. Now I'm at 15 on the 6 and 18 on the 8. I'm pretty happy. It's very core concept compliant at this point. Other than that, as a percentage, I have that small $3 fire bet. I've got my FOMO taken care of. If a point of 5 or 9 is rolled, let's use 5. I'm also right where I want to be. I add $10 odds behind the pass line and make a $30 bet on the 8. Again, if the 8 hits, I reduce it to a wager of $18 and take down the odds. As I've said, some gyration, some hokey pokey. Put my left hand in, take my odds bet down, sort of kind of thing. That so I don't have a fear of missing out, and I've managed to make the bets I really do want to make. The core concept compliant bets. And when we were playing that Sunday and we got to a 4-point fire and then a 5 and then a 6-point fire, we were so happy we hadn't missed out on that big payout. And most days, making that high house advantage wager with a small percentage of the total I'm going to wager on that shooter doesn't really seem to impact my chances of winning for the session or the day. All right, let's adjourn to the lounge for some sips and a quick story.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome to the most must-listen-to segment in casino podcasting, the Virtual VIP Lounge. Our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time. The best virtual food and drink served in any virtual VIP lounge anywhere on the interwebs, guaranteed or your money back. As always, as we always do, if you can, press pause, pour yourself something, fix a plate, do the things that are done in the best VIP lounges anywhere on the planet. What a wonderful thing it is to have those available to us where they're available. CK2, Casino Combat Chef, and his wonderful wife, LMNOP, gifted me a wonderful bottle of ocean-aged bourbon at Sunset Station. I brought it back. I've been treating it like it is gold, but I do have a small pour with me here today. Again, thank you to them for this wonderful, wonderful gift. I've really enjoyed it. It is a really unique bottle. As gamblers, it's fun to talk about good wins, or big wins, or how clever we were to turn a bad session into a small win. It's fun to post pictures on Instagram of big slot wins. For me, that also means I have an obligation to acknowledge losses and failures. And in this case, it is especially important because I've talked in the past about my tremendous successes playing a machine called Sword of Destiny. And there's a fire version and there's an ice version. It has a really unique feature. Every 10 spins, you get to apply a whole set of bonuses that accumulate along the left-hand side of the machine. And I have had tremendous, tremendous success beating this machine. Sunset Station has a couple of them, and I've beaten it consistently in the past. As I've told you, I once sat there and won like 6 out of 7 sessions on the machine just to get enough points to get a jacket. I've beat it up. I've enjoyed beating it up. It's been a lot of fun, and it didn't happen this time. So we get to Sunset Station, we get checked into our room, we get cleaned up a little bit. I'm remembering this machine. Mrs. TRG and I head down there. It's just where I remembered it to be, and I'm just going to beat this machine up and take some money. I've done it a bunch of times in the past. I have a tremendous track record. I beat this machine all the time. I played and I lost. I mean, just barely. As I'm working my way up through the board, 10 spins at each dollar amount. I hit a nice bonus on the next to the last dollar amount, but didn't quite get to a profit. And I'm, with a bit of arrogance and a bit of swagger, just going to play the next 10 spins at the maximum dollar amount, and I'm going to win money because I'm great, I'm amazing, I'm awesome. I always just win money playing this machine. And I lost. And I told myself, well, it's no big deal. I mean, this takes me to like 32 and 4 lifetime or whatever the ridiculous number is on this machine. Okay, I just went from 3 to 4, but no big deal. So the next day we're at brunch and we're all chit-chatting and we're talking about this machine. And a bunch of us decide to go back and do a group pull while I demonstrate how I play this specific rather unique machine and beat it all the time. So we all put in $20. And we all lost most of our $20. Got beat again. A couple of days later, I'm on the private craps table when one person threw a small and another person threw a tall a few hands later, and I took a portion of that win back to Sword of Destiny, determined to start a new winning streak, and I didn't. As I said, going into the weekend, I felt unbeatable on that machine. I was 30-3 lifetime according to my notes. Well, now I'm 30-6. I doubled my loss record. The house beat me like a drum on this machine that I was so very, very sure that I was always going to beat, or almost always going to beat. And that's why that's our story for this episode of the Virtual VIP Lounge, because I like to admit my losses. I don't. That's not true. I don't like to admit my losses. I force myself to admit my losses because I think it's the right thing to do. I think the right thing to do is to be transparent, is to tell you things as accurately as I can, to be as straightforward as I can. And so if you've listened to me in the past on how easy it is to beat Sword of Destiny, it is easy till it isn't. It is simple until it's not. And at Sunset Station, Sword of Destiny kicked my butt and sent me home a loser on slot machines because it didn't do what it had always done.
Please, tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, tip your dealers. If you have a host, tip your host, but don't tip away your wins. TRG has spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we may find out he was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand. TRG was born a ramblin' man. Love it, hate it, it don't matter. Please share with your family and friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. The best part of the podcast is next, the Caisno Combat Blues. Thank you again to Fish Audio for providing my glorious voice. Special thank you to my original actress, author, Julia Tverdovskaya.
For Atlantic City Empress, Caisno Combat's ace. There are profits in the casino tonight, I can feel it in my bones. I had a premonition, you should probably play alone. I know the house has that advantage, but that's part of the thrill. If we follow the core concepts, the chips begin to spill. So baby, here's your player's card, put your bankroll in your hand. Use just some of that money now, do it just the way we planned. Just follow the core concepts and you could win several grand. Well, it's good if it goes down like that, don't have to play to lose. It's gambling as a business, the Caisno Combat Blues. Caisno Combat Blues. The dealers and the pit bosses, the security and the law, the winning and the losing and the tricks nobody saw. No matter if it's blackjack, roulette or craps, you've gotta carry defense cause you always carry cash. There's lots of shady characters, lots of dirty deals. Everybody has an alias cause that's more fun we feel. It's the lure of winning money, it's got a very strong appeal. Perhaps you'd understand it better standing in my shoes. It's the ultimate enticement, it's the Caisno Combat Blues. Caisno Combat Blues. Whoa. You don't see it in the headlines, you don't hear it every day. No one's trying to stop us and we don't need to go away. We can gamble in Atlantic City, we can gamble in LA, we can gamble out in Vegas. I mean, we're here to stay. Gambling's propping up the budgets of folks like me and you. You ask any casino manager, he'll say there's nothing he can do. From the pockets of the casino, right down to me and you. Me. It's a winning proposition and one you shouldn't refuse. It's just the core concepts, the Caisno Combat Blues. Caisno Combat Blues.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, It's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.